Hey there, welcome to the ArtMaster channel. Today we'll be drawing Goku in Super Saiyan 4. Hey everyone, so to begin this piece, as always, we'll start with some guidelines. Grab your ruler and make a vertical line from the middle of your page. Then we'll do a cross section, always starting from the middle as well. And we'll do on a secondary horizontal line, very close to the one that we did. And this is going to help us to proportionate the eyes way better. Once this is done, place the following dots as you're seeing on screen. Try to have them as symmetrical as possible. This way the eyes are going to be way better proportioned in the end. Once this is done, we can finally begin. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is actually make these dot segments meet. That way we can start off the sketch having the eyes centered, proportionate, and looking amazing. I think this is a very simple and awesome technique to have things look the way that they should. Once you're finished with the eye shape, we're gonna have those little under eye lines that I'm doing right here, because you know that Goku Super Saiyan 4 has that distinct look. And then we're gonna do the eyebrows. These, they do go a little bit above the line, the horizontal line, and they start out really thick, but then they go really thin by the end. For the iris and the pupils, well, we'll begin with the irises. Try to make two semicircles, have them very centered, very well proportioned, and inside another semicircle for the pupil. Try to make them as symmetrical as you can, and there you go. Now, as you can see, just by applying a dot in the vertical line down by the end, I have a very good reference so that I can outline the rest of the chin, jaw, and the overall face. Whoops, I forgot the frown, and it's really easy to do. Just do a couple of lines and then close them out down below. And since we're here, we can move down and continue with the nose. Gotta be careful with the mouth. It's quite triangular, but don't make it too long, because otherwise it's just gonna look weird. And since we're there, we can just do a little smile. That smirk, that typical smirk that he has, and a couple of more of expression lines to make the face really pop out. Right above the frown, we can do two more expression lines that is going to really cement that look, and also a couple of lines under the eyes. Before we move on, this is the best time to actually look at the face and make sure to correct any mistakes or things that you don't like. As you can see, I corrected a couple of things, so take the time to make sure that you enjoy and that you like how the face looks, because it really is one of the most important parts of the piece to make it really look good. Now it's the best time to begin working on the ears and a couple of the hair locks that fall right on his face. As you can see, the ears, they begin to form right about the same height as the nose, and we're also working on those little locks that fall onto the left of his face. Once they're done, we can work on the inner details of the ear. Once that's done, we can mark the height of the forehead and finish off the two main hair locks that fall on his face. To make them really look good, be aware of their overall size. They cannot be either too wide nor too thin. For the hair, I really do recommend to make the outer locks first. That way you can proportion the rest of the hair and then focus on the inner details of the hair locks. Remember, from the outside in, they are very pointy and they grow wider and quite open to the inside of his head. Also, his hair is not like many others because he has a lot of hair plus two really big locks that fall onto his chest. But before we do those, we're going to start drawing the necklines so that we have a better idea where they're going to fall. Now these lines that I'm doing are basically his hair highlights. As you can see, Goku Super Saiyan 4 has very dark hair, but some highlights that go in gray. Now, as a full disclosure moment, I really want to say that if you're following this video for, the tutorial, don't really pay attention right now to what I'm doing, because basically I did the chest and it was not okay. I had to really go on about it again and again and again and again, because as you know, we're not perfect, and even if you have a lot of experience, you're gonna mess it up. So yeah, that's just another lesson for you guys. It doesn't matter how good you are, you're gonna mess up from time to time. So don't worry, fix it, and then go on about it again. You know, messing up on a sketch is not really that bad. That's why it's a sketch. You can always rectify it a couple more times, 2, 3 times, however times you may need. You know, so don't really beat yourself up over it. And I don't know, that's my art tip for this video. If you're on a sketch mode and you mess up, erase it and try again. Now you might be thinking, hey ArtMaster, I'm not really seeing many mistakes, can you point them out? Sure. If you go back a few moments, you're gonna see that the pecs, the arms, the shoulders, they were huge. So I started erasing them and just make them a little bit smaller. Drop the shoulders a bit, drop the pecs a bit, draw the arms a little more thin, and I think in the end they look way better. Once we have everything to the proportions that we like, it's time to go to the next part of the drawing, the line art. Now look, I've received a lot of messages in the past saying that people are scared of doing the line art on paper because they don't want to mess it up because they do irregular lines. And look, it's totally normal. It happens to me a lot. So my tip actually is grab your marker, that we use markers up to 1 millimeter, and grab another piece of paper and just do straight lines for about 5 minutes. That is really gonna, you know, first get rid of the nerves, plus you're gonna practice a bunch. So when you feel more confident, you can go over to the drawing and start the line art. Once the line art is done, we can move to the next and final stages of the drawing, which is the coloring, and it's my favorite part. As always, when working with anime drawings, I really like to use alcohol-based markers. For this piece, I used Fine Color and Copic. Copic? How do you say it? You say Copic or Copic? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, their links are in the description if you want to purchase them or give them a look. They're down below. First thing that we do is that we just fill in the colors of all the black areas, so then we have, you know, more time to work on the fine details and the blurring effects with the gray color. By the way, I just really like doing these drawings of anime with alcohol-based markers, but if you don't have them, you can totally do it with, you know, regular colored pencils. I just like the way it looks. That's it. Great, after the black parts are in, we move into the gray blurring effect, and for these I will use 4 different shades of gray, going from darkest to the lightest. I'll always use that method, and I'll always try to mix the colors quite quickly so they have a better effect overall. With the hair out of the way, I went for the eyes, and I used one light yellow color and a darker yellow. Then a bright shade of red for those little lines under his eyes. Now moving on to the face, the first thing that I do is that I use, you know, a couple of shades for his color, and the darkest shade is going to be next to his hair because there's shadow there. And I think that the light is coming in from the left, so you'll see that the left side of the face is the lighter tone. When applying the shadows of the neck, I always start where the lines are the closest. And that's a good tip to remember, you know, where is shadow in any particular piece of the drawing. Moving down to the pecs, as you can see, the darker area will be to the right and the lighter area to the left. We're using 3 shades here, and always try to mix the colors quite quickly so that you can have the best effect. Moving down to the abs, we're going to use the shadow work on the outer and the inner extreme sides of them, and then keep the lighter colors in the middle. Now, moving to Goku's famous red color of his coat, we're going to use up to 4 different shades, or, depending on the amount of pencils or markers that you have. What I do first is I use a gray color right at the beginning, and then I quickly mix it with a garnet color so that I can really get the shade that I want. Then I continue to use that garnet color until moving to the other shades of red and finishing off with that, kind of subdued orange color. So the shading would be gray, garnet, base red, lighter red, and then that little hint of orange. A quick tip to coloring in the hair is doing wider strokes like, cat whiskers, instead of what I usually recommend, which is keeping it tight and going over the color layers over and over again to make it pop. So do those wider strokes and it should be fine. As always, guys, you can leave in the comments down below which is your favorite Dragon Ball character, and I'll read the comments and possibly draw it so that you guys can see how it goes. I really hope that you like this one, guys. I really like this character. So yeah, please leave a like, a comment, it really does help. And if you like my content, consider subscribing. There is way more content to come down the line. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye!